Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and welcome to one of the Tajmaat sessions. And today we are going to went through the leaking of the questions on last Saturday. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The first question here, it says, what is the range of the graph function? And as you notice, in question number 1A, I asked about the range, but in 1B, I asked about the increasing interval. And I'm going to solve the range, increasing interval, decreasing interval, range, increasing interval, decreasing interval, and constant interval. Okay, so first we should know that the function here is going down. So this part is decreasing, and this part is a constant interval, and this part is another decreasing, but the last part here is increasing. First, I asked about the range. Range is the corresponding value of y. What are the corresponding values? I took it from I. For example, if the least point here is 1, so I am taking all the points on y from 1 till infinity, from 1 till infinity, and infinity, of course, will be open. So if I'm asking about the range, it's going to be from 1 to infinity. What if I'm asking, like question number 2 here, or 1B, I'm asking about the increasing interval. Increasing, the function is increasing here. We don't go to the y-axis, we go to the x-axis. So it's increased from 3 till infinity. So the point will be 3 to infinity is the increasing interval. If he is looking for the constant interval, which is parallel to the x-axis, it starts at -2 and ends with 1. So we have range, we have increasing, we have decreasing, okay, and we have a constant interval. This is regarding the first question. Regarding the second one, in the given figure, what is the value of x? Whereas this point is the center of the circle. Since this is a semicircle, its measure of arc is 180 degrees. So the angle opposite to it is half the measure of the arc. Or we can say that any angle drawing in a semicircle is equal to 90 degrees. Any angle opposite to a diameter, its measure is 90 degrees. Its measure is 90 degrees. No, in the increasing interval or decreasing interval, the point is a turning point. Thanks for this question. In the, it's not closed because at the point 3, it's a turning point, and the turning point doesn't belong to the increasing or decreasing. So that's why it's open. Now, let's go to the question from limit of the infinity. And let's understand that we have 3 types for the limit of the infinity. The first type, that the greatest power of x up, which is x power 4, and the greatest power of x down is x power 4. So let's say that the first case, I have the same power in the numerator and the denominator. And in this case, I divide the coefficient. So here, I'm going to divide the coefficient of x power 4, which is equal to 10, and the coefficient of x power 4, which is equal to 5. So it's 10 over 5, which is equal to 2. What if they changed the question and give you a question like limit of x tends to infinity for 10x power 4 minus x squared divided 5x power 5 plus 3x squared minus 10x. In this case, the numerator will be smaller than the denominator, and directly the answer in this case is equal to 0. So the first case, I have the same power of x in the numerator and the denominator. But the second case, But in the second case, I have the same, the power in the numerator smaller than the denominator. Third case, that you have limit x tends to infinity for 10x power 4 minus x squared divided by 5x to the power 5 plus 3x squared minus 10x. And in this case, make it 3 back this time. In this case, the numerator is greater than the denominator. And in case of the numerator is greater than the denominator, I'm dividing the whole new terms. 5 give me 2x. When I replace x with infinity, so it's 2 times the infinity. So in this case, the answer is infinity. So I have 3 answers for the limit to infinity. In case of fraction, first case, I'm dividing the coefficient, that will give me a number. Second case, the numerator is smaller than the denominator, it will give me infinity or negative 0. Third case, the numerator is greater than the denominator, and in this case, it will give me infinity. One of the students is asking, what if its limit to negative infinity? Limit of negative infinity in the first and the second case will not change. The answer will be the coefficient. But limit in the third case, limit when x tends to negative infinity, for this case, which its simplest form is 2x, I'm going to replace x with negative infinity, so the answer here will be negative infinity. Again, for infinity, the first and the second case, the same as negative infinity. But in the third case, you are expecting one of the 2 answers, to be infinity or to be negative infinity. Let's go to question 4. In the given figure, what is the best descriptions for this graph? First, we need to understand what is the normal distribution. Normal distribution is a graph in which the area to the left is equal area to the right. So the line is exactly in the middle, line of the x-axis or the y-axis, or the graph of it, it's a normal distribution. If the graph is making a highest point or its maximum point to the right, away from the y-axis, so it's a negative skew. But if the graph is nearest to the x-axis, so it's a positive skew. Of course, we don't have no correlation here, no correlation in the line of the best fit or in the correlation. This regarding question number 4. So I may have positive, I may have negative, I may have a normal distribution. Question number 5. What is the number of the sample space? And it could be changed to outcomes. So outcomes, the same as the sample space of selecting 2 cards out of 8 cards numbered from 1 to 8. The first choice is out of 8 cards, and the second choice is out of 8 cards. So I'm choosing, or if I wanted to find the number of the sample space, I multiply the number of the first sample, multiply the number of the second sample. So 8 in the first trial and 8 in the second trial, this is 64. The same question comes for another version, asking about the sample space of throwing a dice and tossing a coin. In the coin, I have 2 faces, head and tail. And in the dice, I have 6 faces, from 1 to 6. So the number of the outcomes, or the number of the sample space, is 6 multiplied by 2, which is equal to 12. Which is equal to 12. Question number 7. What is the value of x satisfy the given equation? As we can see, I have equality sign. I have equality sign. And in case of I have equal, I should do a cross multiplication. So 3 multiply 3x plus 4 is equal 5 multiplied to x minus 1. 3 by 3 is 9x. 3 by 4 is 12. 5 times 2 is 10x. 5 times negative 1 is negative 5. To make it easier for me, I'm going to move this 9x to the other side. So I'm going to subtract 9x from the left, 9x from the right. So this will be 1x. And add 5 to the right and add 5 to the left. So this will be 17. So x here is equal 17. So I use the cross product property in solving this question. Question number 8. Find the value of log 6 for third root 36. Find the value of log 6 for third root of 36. You have many methods of solving these questions. I will try to use a simple one. First, you should, all of you know that third root of 36 can be written as 36 to the power of 1 over 3. Third root is 1 over 3. So I'm going to rewrite this as 36 to the power of 1 over 3. And power can go outside the log, and this is a property of the logarithm. Logarithm x power n, the same as n logarithm x. So I can write it a third log 6 for 36. Now, all what you have to do is ask yourself, 6 to the power of what to be 36? If the question like log of 6 to 36. 6 to the power of what to be 36? Of course, all of you know something like this, 6 to the power of 2. So all of this is equal to 2. So it's a third multiplied by 2, which is equal to over 3. So the answer is. Let me show you another solution. It may be a little bit difficult, but you may understand it. Logarithm of third root of 36 to the power of 6. I can rewrite it as log 6 of 36 to the power of third, which can be written as 36 6 to the power of 2 or to the power of third. And then power to the power is multiplied. So it's log 6 for 6 power 2 over 3. And I'm going to use the same rule. So I put down the power outside. So it's 2 over 3 log 6 for 6. And log 6 over 6 is equal to 1. So the answer is 2 over 3. You can use one of the two methods, the one that suits you. I'm expecting if he's going to give you a question tomorrow or after tomorrow in the next exam, it could be root. And notice that root can be written as power of half. It could be fifth. And fifth is going to be 36 power 1 over 5. So don't just went through the leaking questions. Went through the ideas of solving these questions, inshallah, Question number 9. Another question for the logarithm. I added the questions of the logarithm together. I have equal, so I'm going to solve the left-hand side, and I'm going to keep the right-hand side. So this is log 2 for 100. This is addition, and if I have addition, I write one single logarithm, and I multiply these. So I'm going to multiply 5 by 2x. So it's log 2 and 5 multiplied to x is 10x is equal log 2 for 100. Since I have log which is equal to log, so the bases are equal. So 10x is equal to 100, so x is equal to 10. So x is equal to 10. Let's go to question number 10, and he is asking about the number of zeros. I'm asking about 3 zeros. And if I'm asking about 3 zeros, it means the intersection point between the x-axis or the solutions. So he may use the word solutions. If it's an equation, if it's a function, he may use the word roots. He may use the word factors. All of these words means that the intersection point with x-axis. Mr. Hisham, number A and D, the graph is not clear. So we are going to add our own graph. Okay. So in this case, I have 1, 2, 3 intersection points. So the answer is C. How many solutions for number B? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 solutions. But what if the curve like this? No solution. In this case, imaginary. In this case, imaginary. But what if the curve like that? In this case, I have 2 solutions. So don't forget, the word solutions is using for the equation, but the word roots, factors, and set of zeros or number of zeros, and all of them means the intersection point of x-axis come with the function. Now, let's go to the equation of the circle. What is the equation of the circle? If you have a circle, its center h and k, and with radius r, equation of the circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared is equal to r squared. Compare between this equation and the given one. You will find that r squared is equal to 4. So in case if he asked for the radius will be 2. In case of he is asking about the center, you are changing the value inside the bracket. This value is minus 2, so change it to positive 2. And this value is positive 1, change it to negative 1. So the center is 2 and negative 1. So the answer is D. The answer is D. Question number 12. Limit. Limit. This is not limit to infinity. And limit is totally different than limit to infinity. The first step in any limits in the exam, not to infinity, is substitution. To replace the value. And by replacing the value with 2, all what you have to do is calculations. So it's 4 minus 14 plus 6 over 2 minus 1. So 4 minus 14 is negative 10 plus 6 over 1, which is equal to negative 4. And my advice to you during the test, don't rush your work, don't be hurry, quickly finding the value. No, take it easy and solve it with steps, not to miss between the negative and the positive value. Question number 13, and this question actually repeated in every single SAAT test. How to find the average rate of change. The changes is in the function. Sometimes the function is easy, sometimes the function is difficult, sometimes it's exponential, sometimes it's a polynomial one. So to find the average rate of a change, you go to the interval. So if I wanted to average rate of a change for this function, the interval is from 3 to 5. So I find f of 5 and I find f of 3. And then I find the difference between 5 and 3. And I prefer, if you can write it down, f of 5 away from the fraction. So what is the meaning of f of 5? The meaning of f of 5, I will do. The meaning of f of 5 is replacing x with 5. So 2 times 5 squared plus 3 times 5 minus 4. 2 times 25 plus 15 minus 4. 2 by 25 is 50. 50 plus 15, 65 minus 4, 61. And then I figure out the value of f of 3. 2 times 3 squared plus 3 by 3 minus 4, which is 2 by 9 plus 9 minus 4, which is 18 plus 5, 23. So it's 2, f of 5, 61, and 23. 11 minus 3, 8, 5 minus 2, 3, 32, 8 divided by 2 is equal to 90. So the value is 90. Question number 14 about the arithmetic sequence. before we go through the arithmetic sequence, let me speak with you a little bit about the arithmetic sequence. If you have a sequence, and this sequence 3, 7, 11, and so on. Why we called it arithmetic sequence? We called it arithmetic sequence because each time you are adding the same number, which is equal to 4. So we write A1, which is the first term, is equal to 3, and we write D, and D is the common difference, 4, because every time I am adding 4. So arithmetic sequence, it's a sequence that I am adding the same number every time or subtracting the same number every time. 2 rules you should know about the arithmetic sequence. Only 2 rules. What are the 2 rules? The 2 rules that you need to know about the arithmetic sequence: how to find nth term, a specific term of arithmetic sequence, and it's equal A1 plus n minus 1d. Where is n? Is the number of the terms. Where is n? Is the number of the terms. And Sn, sum for number of terms. So may, in this test or the last exam, he figured about, or he asked about finding a specific term, he may give you the sum in the next one. So Sn is equal n over 2, first term plus last term. This is all what you need to know about the arithmetic sequence. What is the arithmetic sequence? How I can find specific term, and how I can find the sum of number of terms. Now let's go to the question. I have A5, which is the fifth term, is equal to 22, and I have A2 is equal to 13. I have A5 is equal to 22, and the A2 is equal to 13. Imagine with me that we have a sequence A1, A2, A3, A4, and A5. A5 is 22, and the A2 is equal to 13. Between them, I have 3 intervals. So I add the same number 3 times. So what is the difference between 13 and 22? 22 minus 13 is equal to 9. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So I can say that the common difference is equal to 3. I solve it by this easy method. So every time I am adding 3. But what if I wanted to go back to the first term? I will subtract 3. So the first term is 10. I wanted to find A13. A13 is equal A1 plus 13 minus 1, which is n, multiplied by d. A1 is equal to 10. 13 minus 1 is 12, and d is 3. 12 by 3, 36, plus 10 is equal to 46. I'm doing all the steps of working easily, clearly for you to understand. This is what you need to know about the sum of arithmetic sequence or a specific term, how to find the common difference. It will give you easy questions in the exam, so you can figure out the difference in the first term. Question number 15. We all know that area of the triangle, but do you know that we have 3 areas for the triangle? We have a cosine rule for area of the triangle, we have a sine rule for area of the triangle, and we have the general rule, which is half base by height. So in case of you have the base and you have the height, or you have a triangle which the height is drawing, in this case you can say that the area is half base by height. But if the triangle the same as number 15 at the front of you, which is not a right angle triangle, you cannot use the area equal half base by height. What I'm going to do, Mr. Hisham, if you have a triangle, A for the angle, capital, A is for the side, small, sorry, you can say that the area is half the product of any 2 sides, half the product of any two sides multiply sine the included angle. So I can say that it's half A by B multiply sine in the included angle C. Or I can say that it's half A by C multiply sine the angle B. So directly, I'm going to write the area of the given shape is half ET by 22 multiplied by sine 30. My advice to you before you go to the SAAT test to know the sine, cosine, and tan of 30, 60, and 45. Of 30, 45, and 60. So it's half by 18 by 22, and I'm sure that all of you are brilliant and you know that the sine of 30 is equal to half. So how I can solve this? Half of 18 is 9. Half of 22 is 11. So 9 by 11 is equal to 99. So it's easy to be solved if it's all multiplication. What is the range of the function f of x is equal x minus 2 plus 3? And how I can figure out this range. Before we go to the range of this function, we should understand what is the graph of f of x is equal absolute value of x. The graph of f of x equal absolute value of x is letter v that passing through the origin. What is the graph of f of x is equal absolute value of x plus 2? It means rising up or shifting up 2 units. What is the graph of f of x is equal x plus 2? So this is shift up. F of x minus 2 plus 2, I go to the left. So I go to the point negative 2. So you should understand that any number outside the function, this is moving to the right or to the left. But any number inside the function, this is moving up or down. If it's a positive, you are moving up. If it's negative, you are moving down. If it's a positive, you are moving to the left. But if it's negative, inside the function, you are moving to the right. So generally, this function, negative 2, it means that I move to the right 2. Positive 3, I shift up 3. So here is the vertex of the curve. Or I can say that vertex is changing the number in the bracket with the number outside. So here is the graph. So the least value of y is 3. The least value of y is 3. And the range is from 3 to infinity. And this time, I'm going to take 3 as closed point because if I replace x here with 0, 0 minus 2 is equal to, if I replace x with 2, 2 minus 2, 0, 0 plus 3, 3. And 3 here, I'm asking about the range, not the increasing or the decreasing function. Decreasing is from negative infinity to 3 to 2, open, and increasing from 2 open to infinity. So there is change in the interval, closed and open in case of range and increasing and decreasing. Question number 17. Find the value of x that makes this function undefined. And he may change the word undefined in the next test or may change it to one of two things. Horizontal asymptote or vertical asymptote. Horizontal asymptote or vertical asymptote. But the word undefined is equal to the vertical asymptote. So if he's asking about the vertical asymptote or the values of undefined, you are going to do the same steps. What is the steps? You are going to take the denominator and make the denominator equal to 0. So 2x minus 6 is equal to 0. So 2x is equal to 6. So x is equal to 3. And by the way, if he's asking for the domain will be all the number in R. You can replace any number in R except the 3. So this is called a fractional function. You can ask about the vertical asymptote. You can ask about the undefined value. You can ask about the domain. and the domain here is x is r minus 3, and the value that made this function undefined is 3. طب Mr. Hisham, if he asked about the horizontal asymptote, if he asked about the horizontal asymptote, you find the limit of x tends to infinity for the function. And you have the three cases. You have the three cases. And in case of its infinity, the numerator is greater than the denominator, it doesn't have a horizontal asymptote, it has a slant asymptote. Question number 18, what is the vertex of the curve y squared is equal to 4x? Before we go to the vertex of this curve, we should know that we have two kinds of a parabola. We have a parabola that y is equal x squared, or we have a parabola y squared is equal to x. And we have a parabola x squared is equal to y, or 4y, 8y, 6y, negative 8y, whatever. But in the parabola, you will have two terms. One of them to the power of 2, and the other term is not to the power of 2. In the parabola, if x squared, so the function is open up or down. If the coefficient here is positive, it's open up. But if, for example, if x squared is equal negative 8, so the coefficient is negative, it's open down. But for y squared, the parabola is open to the right or open to the left. If it's negative, it's open to the left. But our case here, y squared is equal 4x. So you should know that if it's a y squared, it's a parabola open to the right. So in this case, the point will be on the x-axis. So the point cannot be 0 and 1, 0 and 4. Why? Because the vertex lies on the x-axis. Any parabola, we should add it to the form y squared is equal 4px. So you need to divide this number by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is equal to 1. So the vertex here will be 1 and 0. Will be 1 and 0, which we called it p and 0. Again, you should understand the parabola. Is it open up, down, left, or right while you are studying? Question 19, it's a very easy question. Distance between, it's supposed to be distant between the two lines, y is equal negative 3 and y is equal 5. Let me give you some information about the straight line y is equal negative 3. This one is a horizontal line. This line is parallel to the x-axis. This line, its slope is equal to 0. So if this is the x-axis, and this is the y-axis, and this is the point negative 3, here is the straight line. And where is the line y is equal 5? Here is the line y is equal 5. So the distance between them is 8. Clearly it's 8. But what if they change the question in the exam and ask about the distance between the line x is equal 2 and the line x is equal negative 3? X is equal 2 and x is equal 3. In this case, it's a vertical line parallel to the y-axis. Slope is undefined, not exists. And x is equal negative 3 is here, and x is equal 2 is here. So the distance between them in this case is 5. So I revised for you y and the x lines. Question number 20. This was one of the difficult questions in my opinion in the exam. Why? Because you are going to do one of 3 solutions to solve this one. To use synthetic division, to use long division, or to use multiplication. If you don't know anything about division, all what you have to do in the exam is to multiply x plus 2, multiply, for example, a and b and c and d. But I'm going to cancel a and b. Why, Mr. Hisham? This one starts with x squared, and this one starts with x. When you multiply x squared by x, it will give you x power 3. And the first term here is x power 4. So if you don't know anything about synthetic division, all what you have to do is to multiply x plus 2 by this one. And you start to multiply. So x by x power 3, x power 4, plus 2x squared, plus x, then 2 by x power 3 is 2x power 3, plus 4x, plus 2, and then add the like terms. 2x squared, I don't have a like terms here, 2x power 3, and 4x, and 5, this is 5x. This is not the same answer. It's clearly. Why? Because this 5x and this one is -3, so I'm sure that the answer is 2. What if you are good in synthetic division? What is synthetic division? In a simple way. This number is x plus 2. You write it -2. So I make x plus 2 equal to 0, so x is equal to -2. I put it here. Then I write down the coefficient of the values here. Coefficient here is 1. Coefficient here is 2, -2, -3, and 2. And then I put down the coefficient, the first one, 1. I put it down. Then I start to multiply. 1 by -2 is -2. Add them. 0. Multiply again. 0. Add them. -2. Multiply. 4. Add them. 1. Multiply. -2. Give me 0. It should give me 0. If you are not good in synthetic division, you can go back to the synthetic division and study it, or the long division. If you are not good, you can repeat this recording more than one time and do it by yourself. Now, I put here x power 3 less than this power by 1, then x squared, then x, then the number without x. So it's going to be 1x power 3. I don't have x squared, minus 2x plus 1, which is D. So you have one of two solutions to expand, or by using the synthetic or the long division.